This week's episode is sponsored by Topics on Ice. Grab a cocktail. Topics on Ice is a podcast where they spill tea, throw shade, and talk about whatever comes to their mind. Make sure you follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Topics on Ice, and make sure you email them at topicsonice@gmail.com.
Charm Chats with Kendra and Kat. Just a couple of girls talk about this and that. Get familiar with Blue and the charmed ones too on Charm Chats.
Hello! And welcome to Charm Chats with Kendra
And Kat.
Today we are covering episode 308.
Sleuthing with the Enemy.
Oh.
This one aired on December 14th, 2000. Getting toward the end of the year.
Uh-huh.
The title is based upon the movie Sleeping with the Enemy.
Yeah,
which is, kind of what Phoebe's been doing with Cole.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. The plot,
Unbeknownst to her.
Unbeknownst to her. The plot of Sleeping with the Enemy, the plot of this movie, is a young woman fakes her own death in an attempt to escape her nightmarish marriage, but discovers it is impossible to elude her controlling husband. It stars Julia Roberts. It's a weird movie.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen it since it came out in 1991, and let me tell you, I was, 11 when I saw it,
Yeah.
so I shouldn't have been watching it. So,
Yeah. I've seen more than a few of that genre of movie. Most of them on Lifetime, believe it or not.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a Lifetime movie.
I remember there was one that had Jennifer Lopez in it, and it's called Enough.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that one. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And what's really funny is that she was in another movie that had the same, basic starting premise. She has a kid and she's trying to get away from her ex. Except this one has Robert Redford in it. Because it's her kid's grandfather or whatever. And she, goes to a farm in the middle of, Wyoming or some shit.
Okay.
Or Montana. I don't even know. But it was just really funny that she was in two movies within a couple of years of each other about escaping an abusive ex. And I'm just I'm so glad this didn't end up being a typecast thing for her, because that would be awkward.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I can never find enough because I want to watch it again, because there's just that great bit at the end where she just beats the crap out of him, and it's so
spoiler
fulfilling.
Yeah, that's
why I want to watch it again. Sorry for spoilers, but it's good. Satisfying.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
See, lately I've been watching really bad dance movies on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's one of those where the plot of the movie is almost always I've been doing dance movies, cheerleading, gymnastics, stuff like that, just because that's it's a genre thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But the plot of the movie is usually something along the lines of girl is dancer / cheerleader / gymnast, whatever. Something happens and she can no longer do that thing. So now she has to either fight through whatever is happening to her so that she can go back to doing that thing, or she finds something in a slightly different genre. If she's a cheerleader, she finds dance, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Or if she's a gymnastics person, she finds cheerleading, that sort of thing. And it's one of those where the movies are all just enough that I get the tug at the heartstrings and I get out a good cathartic cry by the end of it, Yeah. Which is kind of the point of why I'm watching them. Because sometimes you need that catharsis of the emotion without actually dealing with that emotion. And so watching these, I don't dance. I'm not a dance type person, but watching this emotional, yay, they finally did it, kind of thing. And you get that emotion, you get to cry the happy tears, that sort of thing is fun. But the last two that I've watched have been so completely full of plot holes. Or they'll bring in something and then it never comes back to be resolved. And you're just why? Why do you do this to me? Because now I want a fucking sequel just so these answers just so these questions are answered. And I know it's never going to happen, but just, yeah. It's just, and it's so weird. And like there was one that I watched just last night called Lift Me Up, which is this 16-year-old girl is a dancer. She's living with her stepdad because her mom died, and her real dad is kind of a deadbeat. And like, it's one of those where you watch this movie, and right from the beginning of the movie, you already have questions. Like, okay, why is she still living with the stepdad? Did he adopt her? Because the mom died. Technically, she should go to her biological father if he's still around, because he was only married to her mom for like 4 months. Like, what? There are just so many questions. And none of them ever get answered.
No.
And we've gone so off topic already.
Yeah.
But it just...
See, all I did this week is get my hair cut and buy a bunch more books.
Yeah. I have done neither of those things.
So
get right on into it.
We start off in the kitchen at the manor. We pan over the island. There is a crap ton of different vegetables and shit.
Yeah, there's like vegetables and spices and stuff. I know that I saw some mushrooms, a head of red cabbage, some Brussels sprouts, and a rhubarb stalk. So yeah, there's a bunch of different vegetables. There's like spices, all sorts of random crap.
And there's a nice large stock pot bubbling on the stove.
Yeah, it's a lovely pot full of some purple liquid. And Piper puts something into said pot, and a flame shoots up, but only on one side of the pot. Like, there was a little bar of flame on the inside wall of the pot.
It's almost like there's a pipe in the pot that just flames up occasionally.
Yeah.
Like, someone presses a button and there's a spark.
Yeah.
It's kind of like marsh fire or something.
It was like a little bar of flame that was just inserted on the side of the pot, because you could tell it had at least 3 or 4 different spouts of flame that came out, but it was just on one side of the pot.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Piper is wearing a blue V-neck shirt under a tan hoodie and black pants, and her hair is down, and she's got that little diamond necklace on. I hope somebody else is keeping account of those. How many times she's worn that diamond necklace. I'm not. Prue is also there. She is in a leopard print, slightly cropped cami top and tan pants, and her hair is down. She has hoop earrings on and a watch, but no other jewelry. And she's not wearing a bra, but there's no visible nipples.
Either it's really warm, or she's wearing pasties of some sort.
Yeah. But it's most definitely a like spaghetti strap, like cami top, so you can tell she isn't wearing a bra.
Oh, yeah.
Unless she has some sort of like bandeau bra on. But I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Anyway, so they're making a potion, possibly a vanquishing potion, and Prue says that the next ingredient needed is cockles, which are over by the crickets.
Piper asks what they are, and Prue... After making a comment
about the crickets,
she's like, I don't know.
Yeah, so because I'm me, I had to look them up, right? As we all know. Cockles are small, edible, marine bivalve mollusks.
Yep.
It's a fun word to say, mollusks. They are related to clams, oysters, mussels, and scallops, as well as many other bivalvia. There are more than 205 living species of cockles, and many more in fossil form.
Well, doesn't that just warm the heart?
There is an English phrase that is, it warms the cockles of my heart, which basically means a feeling of deep-seated contentment has been generated, because English is weird.
Very weird. Yeah. We drive on a parkway and park in a driveway. Guys, what's up?
Yep. Anyway, I'm not going to tangent on crickets, but I will link to their wiki for anyone who wants to read about them.
Prue mentions that the next ingredient is pig's feet.
Which Piper thinks is gross, so of course I'll link to the wiki for that as well, just because.
Prue wonders why Piper can slice up a chunk of demon flesh but can't touch pig's foot, which I'm thinking, she was a chef. She probably dealt with some kind of offal there. Offal, for anyone wondering, is the term for the parts of an animal that, mainstream Western cooking is not going to include in a meal. So like the feet, the head, intestines,
stuff like that.
all the stuff you take out of your Thanksgiving turkey before you cook it.
The giblets.
Yeah, giblets.
Yeah. So Piper says that she's a vegetarian,
and Prue asks, Since when?
And Piper replies, since now.
Yeah.
Which,
And I've noticed through this entire thing that they're pretty much completely in ADR. I think because the noise generated from however they're
fire
making...
thing?
Well, not just the fire, but however they're making the pop bubble.
Yeah.
Because it started before the fire. So I'm thinking that causes too much noise and they can't hear them over it.
That could be.
And maybe it's more obvious with Piper, which is interesting. I'm wondering if maybe Holly was feeling under the weather during that scene.
Yeah,
and they
know.
just were like, we'll get it in ADR. It's cool. We'll fix it in post.
Yeah, I don't know. But the Piper saying that she's a vegetarian since now reminded me of the show CSI, when the character of Sarah Seidel became a vegetarian after she saw Grissom conducting an experiment on a dead pig.
Did they actually keep with that storyline?
They did.
Oh, good.
They did, because Georgia Fox, who plays Sarah, is a vegetarian.
Oh, that's helpful.
And so it was can we, we haven't done it up till now. Can we make her a vegetarian after this moment? And they're like, yeah, all right, we can write that in. But yeah, it just was funny to me that it was like, I like that because it's a little parallel thing.
Yeah, anyway, Prue grabs some tongs and gently lobs the pig's foot into the pot, and another little flame shoots up.
Yeah,
which honestly I think was bigger than the last one.
Yeah,
and,
which gets a great line from Piper of, poor piggy.
Yeah.
It's just...
And she's doing this really great, body work where she's got, one arm crossed over the other and she's kind of, leaning away.
Yeah, I love it.
It's really adorable.
They say that the final ingredient in this potion is the slice of Balthazar flesh, and that Prue is all ready to test it out, so she calls out for Phoebe.
Piper tells her that Phoebe still isn't in the vanquishing mood because she hasn't heard from Cole in over a week. Prue does not really give a shit.
Yeah, Prue wonders why that's a bad thing, because she doesn't like him or trust him, and not just because he's a greasy lawyer.
She's not really gone back and forth about Cole this entire time. She's mostly been on the negative side, but there was, a bit in the middle there where it seemed like she was at least okay with him, right?
Yeah, I actually mentioned that in a moment in my notes, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know. She already knows he's in love with Phoebe.
Yeah,
and that she's in love with him.
I don't understand why she's all of a sudden so distrustful, because...
I mean, it fits with
I know
how she's
started out...
You know what? This is just the whole thing that they were doing with Phoebe and Prue trusting each other. They kept going back and forth on it a little bit. And they haven't done it as much here. I think... I don't know. I would speculate from a writing perspective, maybe it was just convenient.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really is just kind of an all-out convenience thing, because,
I don't know that it was super necessary for stuff that happens later in the episode.
Well, they kind of have to move the plot along a little bit, and this was the fastest way of doing it, is kind of making Prue kind of regress a little bit. Because, she started out not so happy with Cole, but she seemed, in the episode when she was an empath, and she found out that Cole is in love with her.
Phoebe.
That Cole is in love with Phoebe. And that
names
Phoebe
are important. We cannot replace them with pronouns in this show.
Yeah, there's too many hers. That Cole is in love with Phoebe, and that Phoebe is falling for Cole as well. She seemed to warm to him, finding that he was in love with her. So she seemed to soften a bit. And now she's gone back to this I don't trust him, I don't like him way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little weird.
It's a little
weird. Anyway,
Phoebe
walks in at the moment after the
greasy lawyer.
Yeah, she has overheard just a little bit and asks, "Greasy what?"
And Piper covers by saying that there's a greasy layer on this potion.
Yeah, Prue says that it is too much mandrake. So I'm not going to tangent on mandrake because, I'll put the link to the wiki on the website. I mean, it's a plant root. It's not that exciting.
No, it's not. Unless you're in Harry Potter.
Yeah. Phoebe is wearing a pinkish purple top that closes with cloth ties
what's the suede?
It's like a micro suede.
It's like a micro suede because when you look at the ties, you can really tell the texture.
Yeah. It's over a very patterned shirt that was kind of hard to see. I never got a good look at what the pattern was on that shirt, but it's just super patterned. And dark purple pants, which at this point when we first see them, they looked kind of maroon. Mm-hmm. But then later on you can tell that they're just a dark purple. Her hair is down and looking a little less blonde than it has in past episodes, but she also looks a little more tan than usual.
Yeah, she really
which
does.
might be why her hair is looking different, because it looks like she either spent a little too much time in the sun or somebody, was a little heavy-handed with the bronzer.
Maybe.
Anyway, they gather around the kitchen island. Phoebe says that she wants to get rid of Balthazar before Cole comes back. And so they start saying the incantation.
Which goes like this.
Spirits of air, force, and sea, set us of this demon free. Beasts of hoof and beasts of shell, drive this evil back to hell.
And nothing happens.
Mm-hmm. The potion
Which, by the
bubbles,
way,
but
how convenient is it that there's suddenly a spell to create a vanquishing potion next to the page on Balthazar? Have we seen this in the book previously? I don't think so, because it's literally opposite the page.
Mm-hmm.
We see a shot of the book, and we see it's on the page facing the Balthazar entry.
Yeah.
So
So,
hi prop department, nice to see you again.
mm-hmm. So the potion bubbles, but nothing happens, and then they remember that they forgot to put in the Balthazar flesh.
So Piper walks over to the fridge and gets out a little tiny Tupperware that has a Balthazar flesh in it, which they have apparently cut into thirds.
Pieces. Yeah, they cut into pieces.
And she
takes
these tiny little tongs.
Yeah, it's very funny though, because like as she's walking, there's a cute sister moment where like Prue calls her a slacker, and she goes, yeah. It was one of those where like the way that it seemed was very much like sisters. Like it didn't seem like an acting moment between actors. It seemed like a sister moment, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
Piper puts the little piece of flesh with the tongs into the pot.
And it blows up.
Yeah, it explodes in fire and smoke. She falls to the ground next to the kitchen table. Phoebe calls out for her, and the girls go run and help her up. Prue asks if she's okay.
And Piper calls it Attack of the Killer Pig's Feet while waving the smoke away from her face.
She tells them to remind her to step back next time. And this is a fun reference to Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, which is a hilariously insane comedic horror musical movie from 1978.
That sounds vaguely familiar to me. I might have heard it referenced before.
There is the only thing that I know about it.
Attack of the Killer anything.
Right.
Like, okay, there's this orchestra piece that is done for, like, late elementary, early middle school age kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Attack of the Rosin-Eating Zombies from Outer Space. And yes, there's a sequel.
Well, alrighty then.
Uh-huh. And one of the sound effects is because you're supposed to have, like, this crunch, so you either make that with your mouth, or if you're a bass player, you take your bow and you put it on the back of the bass and you make it so that the hair is in between the stick and the bass, and then you just rub the stick through the hair over the back of the bass so it makes this, like, crunching sound.
Isn't that bad for the bow?
It's fine, as long as you don't do it, like, super hard. Because the thing is that noise will resonate, because the back is harder, it will resonate through the bass.
Got it.
It's audible.
Interesting.
Plus, it's easier for bassists to do that than it is for violinists or, honestly, cellists, because cellists would have to, like, turn the entire fucking thing, and bassists can just kind of step back and do that.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Because cellists, we sit down.
And
I say
solo,
we because I played cello for like a minute.
The solo in this piece is literally someone screaming.
Oh, Jesus.
I've done that solo.
Nice.
It's super fun.
Nice.
And it helps that we're not all that close to the conductor, which is why you will usually pick someone from the back of the orchestra so that no one's screaming in their face.
Makes sense.
Very.
Yeah.
But
wow. Anyway.
Yes, Attack of the Rosin-Eating Zombies from Outer Space and Return of the Rosin-Eating Zombies from Outer Space.
Well, alrighty then.
Yes, both are very fun.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, the only thing that I know about it, because I've never actually seen it because it came out before I was born, and I have a thing about watching things that came out before I was born. I have to be in the right mood.
Yeah.
And 90% of the time I'm not in the right mood. But the only thing that I know is that I think it might have been like a YouTube clip or like some ad somewhere that there's like a little like sing-songy bit of it. I was like, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
That sounds like it's based off of a pre-existing.
It probably is, and that, but like legit, like that's all I know of it. Just, but I know that it is like a black comedy, not like the phrase black comedy means like it's like a dark comedy.
It's a horror comedy.
Yeah, it's a horror comedy. Mm-hmm. Maybe we shouldn't use that phrase anymore. Black comedy.
Probably not. Yeah. Although there was a horror comedy called Black Sheep.
Yes,
I got the DVD as a Christmas gift for my brother, and he immediately returned it for credit at the store. He did not want it.
Yes. I have seen that one because I worked in a video store.
Yep.
Well, let me rephrase. I have seen the cover for that one because I worked in a video store. I've not actually seen the movie.
Carnivorous sheep, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I will link to
I think I've seen like 5 minutes of it on TV or something, and I was like, Zach probably like this. I was wrong.
Yeah, not so much. Anyway, I will, of course, link to the wiki for Attack of the Killer Tomatoes on the website.
So
and
after this...
We end with the push-in of the Balthazar pages in the Book of Shadows.
And then we fade dissolve to people in a cemetery during a funeral.
Yeah, there's a pastor reading a prayer, and then we pan through the mourners, and
it was a
and
kind
like
of
90% of them are African American.
Mm-hmm. It was the sermon he was giving felt like they were trying to make it reflect the mood of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what he said specifically, but I think there was something in there about like wrath or hell or
it was
retribution. I don't know.
Yeah, it was very much a this seems awfully convenient kind of thing.
Oh man, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, as we pan through the cemetery, we see some workers raking the grass.
Yeah, for no real reason, because it didn't
December.
look like they were raking leaves. It just like they were raking grass.
And we end on a grave with a large angel headstone.
Yeah, like very, very big. Like
so big it's probably fake.
They're life-sized.
So big it's probably fake.
No.
No?
No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. I spent my youth... Thank you, Mother. I spent my youth in cemeteries.
Right, because genealogy.
Yeah. So, they're, especially in Catholic cemeteries.
Oh, I know.
There are a lot of angel headstones.
I know. It looked too nice.
It looked too pristine.
Neat. Yeah.
But the
so large and pristine, it looks fake.
It's the pristine that makes it look fake.
Yeah.
It's either fake or it's new. One or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Which, the fact that they're still having funerals in the cemetery, it could just be new. And that's perfectly fine.
Possibly. But anyway.
So
behind said headstone appears Balthazar.
In his normal black outfit. He falls to the ground and he leans against this angel. And then you can tell that he's still quite hurt. Which makes me wonder, how long after the last episode is this? It's at least the next day.
They said that Phoebe hasn't seen Cole in a week.
Right.
So it's been a week.
It's been a week. Why is he still so hurt?
I don't know. I think it's... I don't know. It could have been because he was injured in demon form or something.
Yeah.
And then he's been on the run and he hasn't really had time to recuperate. Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah.
Anyway.
He spots a mausoleum in the distance, so he gets up and kind of stumbles toward it in full daylight.
Yep. And he leaves a spot of blood on the headstone as he goes. And then we see him go away, and then we cut back to the bloody spot on the headstone that he left, as a man appears in a flash of light and touches the blood. He's wearing a black shirt, tan pants, and a brown leather jacket.
And he looks like just the barest bit like Quentin Tarantino. But if
he was like buff?
If he was buff and had a wider nose.
Yeah, a little bit. Anyway, he touches the blood, smells the blood, and then smiles and looks around, and he sees the door of the mausoleum just as it's closing.
So he heads for it.
Yeah.
We cut inside the mausoleum where Balthazar is hiding.
As this man walks in.
The man spouts some exposition at Balthazar.
Yeah.
We learn that Balthazar can't shimmer, and that the bounty on him was determined by the source himself.
Which, means that the source is a single person, a single dude. So that's, good to know.
Yeah.
And this guy, this dude in the leather jacket, thinks that Balthazar is powerless. Balthazar then runs toward the door. Leather jacket dude sees him and he tries to zap him with some like lightning stuff. And Balthazar, who is apparently not powerless, throws a ball of his little blue lightning stuff at a column that falls down near this demon that is like trying to get him.
And it like the column cracks in half and it kind of lands.
It crashes real nice.
And I think part of it's supposed to land on him, but we don't really see it.
Yeah, we don't really see it. Balthazar then runs outside and he sees people walking. And
he realizes he can probably hide in them, so he tries to turn back into Cole, but there's a struggle, and he turns back into Balthazar and then back into Cole.
Yeah, it takes him a couple times.
Cole does not look good.
No, Cole absolutely does not.
Makeup has done a really great job.
He looks pale.
He's very pale. His eyes are sunken. He's got a faint like wet sheen over his face.
Yeah, he's not looking good.
And his hair is super curly.
Yeah. He didn't have time to slick it back. Like there's no gel in it, nothing. And as Cole, he is wearing a gray jacket over a white button-down shirt tucked into black pants with a belt. So he's still kind of wearing like normal clothes.
Yeah.
As Cole.
I wonder how the clothing thing works out when he shifts forms. If like he can change his clothing either way. Like, does the clothing he wears as Balthazar exist?
Yeah,
Can he take it off? And if he takes it off, does that affect his human form outfit? Like, these are the questions I think of late at night.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't think that the clothes in either form matter to the other form. Mm-hmm. As we will find out later.
Wait, hang on.
Bit.
Didn't last episode, like when he was wearing the tank top, wasn't he also wearing a tank top as Balthazar? Wasn't he doing like the same outfit thing?
I don't remember. No, because no. No, as Balthazar, he was in his normal black clothes, and then when he switched back to Cole, he was in the tank top.
I don't know why my brain is making me remember it differently.
Yeah, no. Balthazar is never in a tank top.
Stupid brain. Stop it.
Yes. Anyway. Oh boy.
Yeah.
So, he finally gets it into the Cole persona, and he walks over to the people who are attending the funeral that we saw earlier.
And he's just kind of, like, making sure he gets them in between him and the mausoleum.
Yeah. And Leather Jacket Dude walks out of the mausoleum just as Cole is asking a woman for a ride.
She asks if he's going to the wake, and he says, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But, like, low, so she probably didn't notice because she's busy dabbing her eyes with a Kleenex.
Yeah. So, Leather Jacket Dude doesn't seem to know where Balthazar went, or at least isn't willing to go into a crowd of humans to get him.
Which indicates to me that he doesn't know what Balthazar looks like in his human form.
That could be.
Which is funny, because we've met demons who do.
Yeah.
So, he must not know this guy.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. He's
probably never met him. But, like, who was it? It was a couple episodes. Oh, Troxa knew what he looked like.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was at least one. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The,
Andres knew what he looked like, too.
No, I'm the swirly-eyed boots. Swirly-eyed dudes.
Swirly-eyed boots?
Swirly-eyed boots. Yeah, the ones that steal the kids and take their sight.
The Grimlocks.
Grimlocks, thank you.
Yes.
My brain wanted to put a W somewhere, and it was not working.
No.
The Grimlocks knew it was him without him changing. Yeah. So, interesting.
Yes. It is quite interesting. Anyway.
One might say it's convenient.
Mm-hmm. So, Cole and this woman walk off, and we see Cole button his jacket to cover the spot of blood that is on his stomach that is seeping through his shirt.
Mm-hmm. He is just still bleeding.
Mm-hmm. And we go to the opening credits. Now, before I forget, because they had lines and IMDb credits, the pastor was played by Charles Walker. He was born in 1945 in Chicago, Illinois.
Woo woo.
He has 140 acting credits between 1975 and 2012. Nice. And he will be back as a different character, a judge, in the middle of season 4 and the beginning of season 5 of this show, which actually made me notice something in his acting history. He's been a bit typecast. He's played a judge 6 different times, a doctor 9 different times, some form of clergy 10 different times, and someone in law enforcement over 20 times.
So he has a very authoritative air to him.
He has a distinct look about him.
Yeah.
I just thought it was very, very interesting. And I felt the need to mention it. The woman that Cole gets a ride from was played by Lynn Tufeld. She has 34 acting credits between 1975 and 2003, and she's actually going to come in as a nurse in this show in season 6, so I'll, of course, mention her again when we get there, but that is her last role. Mm-hmm. So she had this role and then that role.
And that was it.
These were her last two roles.
For the show, anyway.
Yeah. No, those were her last two roles.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so,
no Daryl in the credits again.
Yep, that means no Daryl in the episode. We come back to an exterior shot of the manor that pans down from the top of the building to the stairs. And then we head inside. Where
Prue's coming down the stairs into the foyer, and Phoebe walks in from the dining room. Mm-hmm. They both head into the living room, and Phoebe tells Prue that she's going to school and then to Cole's.
Prue asks about vanquishing Balthazar, and Phoebe asks about a summoning spell.
Prue tells her that she rewrote the one they used to call Melinda to them from the past, and it should work since it is, after all, magic calling magic.
Mm-hmm. Phoebe puts some books in her backpack and then puts it on. It's the same silvery one that she had last time. And Prue asks what Phoebe thinks she'll find by going to Cole's again.
Phoebe tells her that she's going to his office this time, and then wonders how it is that Prue knew she'd already gone to see him.
And Prue says that Phoebe got a parking ticket the day before while using her car, which Phoebe, of course, offers to pay for.
Kind of just offhandedly, like, oh, I guess it was my fault.
Yeah, and Prue's like, that's not the point.
Yeah, Phoebe tells Prue that she just wants some support, but Prue says that she doesn't think she can support her when she thinks she's making a bad decision.
Yeah, she's trying to be honest due to the promise that they made to each other when Balthazar tried to split them up. And, of course, Phoebe mentions that she never really liked Cole to start with. So, again, it's that, like, she's backtracked just a bit. Prue says that Phoebe never really liked any of her boyfriends either.
And Phoebe kind of smiles and agrees to that.
Yeah.
At this point, Piper walks in.
Yeah. She asks if they're going to get their vanquish on.
But Prue very magnanimously says that Phoebe is going to go to Cole's since they only need the potion and not the power of 3 to vanquish.
Yeah. So, Piper hands
to vanquish
Phoebe...
Balthazar, that is.
Yes.
Gotta be specific. Because we know, but they don't.
Yes.
At this point.
Yes. Piper hands Phoebe a bottle of potion, just in case.
It's very cute, and it matches her outfit.
Yes.
It's a lovely little violet.
Yeah.
Like a magenta-y sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's in the same color family as her outfit.
Yeah.
But slightly more vibrant.
Yeah,
it was vibrant, a very sort of violet.
It was a very interesting thing that she decided to be in shades of purple for this episode.
And honestly, this bottle is really cute. You see it close up later, and it's like the molded glass looks like curtains.
Yeah, a little
and
bit.
Tassels.
Yeah,
it's very cute. I want those bottles.
Yeah, they're kind of cute. Anyway, Phoebe tells them to stop whispering because it's bad enough that Cole is keeping secrets. She doesn't need her sisters keeping secrets too.
She leaves, and we end on a shot of Piper and Prue looking...
Like what? Like guilty? Like, it was a weird look on their face, but I couldn't really tell what it was.
It looked to me like a combination of guilt and pity.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It was definitely a combo look of something, and I couldn't exactly pinpoint what it was.
Guilty? It doesn't really work the other way.
No.
Giddy. No. That doesn't work. That's a completely different emotion.
That is a completely different thing, yeah.
So, yeah.
Anyway.
Guilty.
There you go. We cut to Cole, who now has untucked his shirt from his pants. And
he's limping his way through some kind of smoky/foggy alley.
Yeah, it's one of those where, like, you could tell that he's going down this alley, and it's got that, like immense bit of, like...
It's one of those sets that, honestly, they probably reuse a bunch and just put different rando props in it.
Yeah, probably.
Because it's supposed to just resemble any given alley.
Yeah.
In a downtown of some place.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where you're like, this is a shady place that he is at. Mm-hmm. And we can tell that because it's foggy in there.
Yeah.
He's clutching his side. He's sweating a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, like his face is like super damp.
Yeah, he leans against the wall, takes off his coat, unbuttons his shirt, and pulls off this bloody cloth that he just somehow stuck to the wound.
Yeah, because it wasn't like gauze. It was just
cloth.
It was a piece of cloth.
And it's funny because he literally has not stopped bleeding since he was cut.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how is this sticking?
It's probably just sticking to the blood.
Yeah, but like if he's bleeding that much, it's not going to stay on there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was supposed to be taped, but there was no sound effect of tape being taken off. There was
no tape.
Yeah. Anyway, we see a lovely red circle of flesh, or I should say non-flesh.
It's an ellipse.
Yeah, it is where the flesh should be and yet isn't. And so he takes off his shirt and he hears some rattling at the other end of the alley, and we get this insert shot where we can see a poster for the Goo Goo Dolls on the wall.
Which I did not notice.
Yeah, it was like the only reason I noticed it is because it's the same poster that was up in P3 on the episode that we had the Goo Goo Dolls playing.
Hey, prop department, how you doing?
Yeah, it was just really funny, and it was like it was the bright red Goo Goo Dolls poster, and then there was a poster on like all four corners. There was like a dark, like a grayish poster. That one I wasn't sure what it was supposed to be, but that was the same poster.
Interesting.
So it was like the Goo Goo Dolls was like in a flower.
Yeah.
It was just funny. And there's like some graffiti and stuff like that.
Yeah. Anyway, he tries to like rip his shirt so he can bind his wound.
Yeah, but he like tries to like bite it for some reason, but the way
that's what I do with tape.
But the way that he bites it, it didn't look like he was trying to
No, because
like,
he was
tear.
biting the collar.
Yeah. Like it didn't look like he was trying to bite it to tear. It just looks like he was biting it to bite down on something and like growl a little. It was just funny.
He just had to very ineffectually look like he was attempting to tear it in half.
Yeah.
And then he kind of stops, and
because it won't budge.
It won't budge. And then he just very frustratedly like morphs back into Balthazar and rips the shirt in half.
Just rips the shirt. And so we can see, because at this point Balthazar is shirtless.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where the question does come of, does it matter? Because now Cole is shirtless, so Balthazar is shirtless.
It's interesting.
It is interesting. So
because clearly the specific clothing doesn't stay consistent.
I think
but maybe his level of undress does?
Either that, or it could just be it's what Cole chooses to show. In that he needs to be topless because he has to get to this wound, and therefore when he changes to Balthazar, he is topless.
I'm amazed he can have that much control within the state.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, we get to see the fact that the black markings on Balthazar don't stop at his face. There's a nice little spiral on his shoulder. I liked it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I have a thing for spirals. It's my favorite shape.
Yeah.
I love it.
They're fun.
Anyway,
he wads up a portion of the shirt and presses it against the wound.
And then we see a homeless man come around the corner, which was probably the thing that made the rattling sound earlier.
Yeah, so Balthazar runs away without changing back into his human form.
Yeah, and the homeless dude sees him go.
The homeless dude, who, it should be noted, is wearing a long-sleeve striped shirt and a beanie.
Yes.
And he's got long
like a
hair.
hipster homeless dude.
He really is.
Yeah.
No jacket.
Yeah.
At all. But he spots Cole's jacket, or his coat, and he picks it up, and he looks like he cannot believe his good fortune.
Yeah.
Like, here's this nice warm coat. Sure, it's got a little bit of blood on it, but that's no problem.
Yeah. It was the funniest thing in that entire scene for me was that he sees Balthazar run away, and he, like, the way that he was running was not like a full out run, because you know that he's in pain, and so he's kind of doing this thing. Yeah, but it was like, have you ever seen a little kid on one of those like hobby horses, where it's the horse head on a stick?
Galloping? He was galloping?
That's kind of what it looked like. It was like galloping with a limp. It was very funny.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, it was funny to me. At least that's how my brain interpreted it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, jumping back over to the manor, Piper and Prue are tipping the dining room table on its side.
And they've removed, like, everything off the top, obviously. Piper says ruefully that it's going to get messy, and Prue comments, that's why we Scotch guard.
So, for anyone who doesn't know, Scotch guard, and that is guard, one word, Scotch guard, and there's no U in guard. It is a water and
like
stain
Asgard.
repellent. Yeah, there you go.
Not Guardian.
Yes. It is a water and stain repellent from the company 3M that gets applied to fabric, furniture, carpets, stuff like that to protect them from, stains.
3M, the maker of command hooks.
Indeed. Hashtag not sponsored.
Oh,
But
man,
we
I
love
could use
them.
I could use a few hooks.
I know, right?
Or the poster strips.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be nice.
I love them so much.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Anyway, the original...
They are holding up most of the posters in this room.
Yes. The original formula of Scotchgard was discovered accidentally in 1952.
As most good inventions were.
Mm-hmm.
Worcestershire sauce?
Yeah.
Accidentally.
Silly putty?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Flubber?
Yep. Well, yeah. Anyway.
I didn't say they had to be real inventions.
Anyway, 3M began selling Scotchgard in 1956, and the two chemists that accidentally made it, were Patsy Sherman and Samuel Smith. They received the patent for the formula in 1973. So it took a few years. Just a couple. They figured it out in 52, didn't get the patent until 73.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was because other people were like, oh, if they're making this, we can make this. Mm-hmm. And they were like, patent.
They probably had to guard their formula.
Yes. Anyway.
With a U, that one.
Yeah. Anyway, in 1999, the Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA here in the United States, started an investigation into the chemicals used in Scotchgard because some of them had been,
labeled carcinogenic.
Yeah,
or
not
something.
good stuff. And so 3M reformulated.
Were they using DDT?
No, it was like PCOP or something like that. And then they changed it to PCSP or something. I don't remember exactly what the lettering was.
Oh, as long as they didn't take out the intermediate letter and make it PCP, I guess.
Yeah, no, it was like PPCP. I don't know. Like I said,
These initializations mean nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I'll link to the website for everything, whatever. But 3M reformulated the formula for Scotchgard in 2003. So the EPA investigation was in 1999, and it took them until 2003 to actually reformulate. So once again, took a few years. EPA
is chronically underfunded.
So true.
More so now than ever.
Yeah. Anyway, I will, of course, link to Scotchgard, all that good stuff, because I'm me.
Mm-hmm. Prue hands Piper a bottle of the potion, and they both crouch down behind the table.
And they say the modified spell at the same time, which is: magic forces, black and white, reaching out through space and light, be he far or be he near, bring us the demon Balthazar here.
There's a tornado in the middle of, I think, the foyer.
Mm-hmm.
A nice little, get two Coke bottles timed together with some liquid in the middle and make a vortex type of tornado.
Yeah, it gets stupid windy.
Uh-huh.
And
then a figure appears facing the opposite direction.
Yeah, and they each throw their bottle of potion at the figure, and the bottle of potion explodes.
But there's
no boom.
There's no boom. And I think we hear Piper mention that there's no boom.
Yeah, Piper's like, there's no boom. And they both peek out to see that the person that they summoned is not Balthazar. It is instead
the dude in the tan jacket from the cemetery.
Yeah. He calls them stupid witches and then throws a bolt of lightning at them.
And he, the hand motion he makes for this lightning is like he's trying to grab a boob that's above his head.
Yeah, it was a little grabby palm.
I don't know. It was halfway between a boob grab hand motion and a mind meld hand motion. It was a very specific thing, and I'm just did he decide that? Did the director decide that? Who decided that this was going to be the motion? He's kind of calling down the lightning from on high, but he's working with an invisible one of those electro globes, and so it's got to connect to all 5 fingers or whatever. And
Tesla coil?
Or how the dish in the Death Star has the 8 points where they just combine and make one beam. He's got... His hand is a little Death Star plate.
There you go.
And then the lightning comes out from it or some shit.
Yeah. Anyway,
it makes a huge hole in the dining room table.
Which brings our furniture annihilation quotient up to 6 for the season and 32 for the series.
And it's not the last one in this episode, guys. Spoiler warning.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prue stands up, indignant, says that the table was an antique.
Yeah.
And then uses her power and he flies backward through the foyer toward the grandfather clock.
Piper freezes him midair.
And yells at Prue, saying that they can't afford to keep fixing that damn thing.
Yeah. And they walk over to him, and they realize that unless Balthazar can morph, this is definitely not him.
Prue wonders how they got the wrong demon, and then has a thought occur to her, like, you almost see a light bulb go off above her head. And she asks Piper if she could just unfreeze his head. Piper looks confused, and she's like, well, we might as well.
Yeah.
So they walk closer, and Piper does the unfreeze motion at his head. And what I love about this is that this is not like a freeze frame that they normally do when there's a frozen person and they have to continue the scene.
Mm-hmm.
It looks a bit like they somehow rigged him up and just digitally removed whatever was holding him up.
Yeah.
So that he could just hang there.
Yeah.
Until the point where she unfreezes his head.
Yeah.
And then that's clearly like okay, they took this shot of what he was doing at this point and then paused it so he could do movement, and then they just spliced him or whatever. I don't know how it works, but it's cool looking.
Yeah, it didn't look like a bad CGI. It looked not too horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
anyway,
it works, and they both kind of giggle.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's new.
Cool. Yeah.
That's cool. All right.
Oh, yeah.
And he asks who they are, and then threatens to butcher them if they don't unfreeze him.
So Piper immediately goes, okay, sure. Unfreezes him. He crashes into the grandfather clock, which is completely annihilated.
Yeah, and Prue gives her a look, and Piper's like, it was worth it. That brings our furniture annihilation quotient up to 7 for the season, and 33 for the series.
Anyway,
they go over to him. Prue puts her foot on his chest and tells him to start talking. And he says, I am Krell, a Zotar.
A Zotar.
Zotar.
To which Prue replies, hi, I'm Prue, a Scorpio.
So at least she knows that she's not a Gemini.
That's good.
Lovely callback to episode 303. Just saying.
Anyway, now that he has a name, we're going to tell you about him.
Yes. Krell is played by Scott McDonald. He started acting in 1993. He is still going strong. He, in fact, has 2 movies in post-production to come out this year in 2018. And the nerd cred is strong with him. He started out in Star Trek Next Generation. He played somebody else on Star Trek Voyager. He played 2 different characters on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And he did the voice for the Star Trek Klingon video game, as well as being in 8 episodes of Star Trek Enterprise.
He's been in almost all of the Star Treks.
Mm-hmm.
He has trekked all over the goddamn quadrant.
Yes, he's been in everything,
Actually,
I believe,
all over the galaxy,
except...
because Voyager is in the Delta Quadrant.
Yes, I believe he's been in everything except the original.
The original and Discovery.
Discovery, that's the one I always forget about. That's right, yeah. So then Prue asks Krell where Balthazar is. Now, here's the thing. She normally pronounces it Balthazar.
Yeah.
This time she says Balthazar, which was
I
weird.
don't know. Like, I honestly, until we started rewatching this, I thought it did end in AR. I thought that's just how it was spelled. Partially because Balthazar Getty has a role on this show in, like, season 5, I want to say.
Yeah.
And so his name is Z-A-R.
Yeah.
And so I keep getting that confused.
Yeah.
And every other time I've seen a Balthazar, it's always been Czar, not
properly
Zor.
spelled, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just interesting
And
that...
half of the people say Balthazar.
Yeah.
So...
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying, is the fact that normally Prue says it as Balthazar. And this time she said Balthazar.
I don't know what that's
and
about.
It was very weird. And that happens a few times in this episode.
Yeah, people keep flip-flopping. Even Krell flip-flops a little.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. But, you know,
yeah.
we deal. We're not going to keep a tally of it. It was just more of a thing to note because it happens.
Yeah, anyway, Krell shoves Prue's leg off of him, and he stands up, and Prue does a little yelp. Yeah,
and Prue and Piper, like, back away, and they kind of get into fighting stances.
Krell tells them that he won't attack if they don't, and he informs them that he's a bounty hunter who tracks fugitive demons, and it looks like they're going after the same one.
Yeah, and we end on a shot of the girls looking slightly confused.
Yeah, slightly.
Just slightly. We get an exterior shot of the courthouse that we have had before.
Mm-hmm.
Right
Inside.
down to the taxi outside.
Oh, yeah. Inside, Phoebe walks up to Cole's office door, looks around to make sure no one's watching her, and walks on inside. Because guess what, peeps? It's unlocked.
Mm-hmm.
She sees, like, some suited arm sitting in Cole's chair. Well, I mean, there's a person sitting in Cole's chair. She only gets, like, the arm.
Yeah.
And she
immediately
starts
thinks
walking,
it's Cole.
Yeah, she starts walking around the desk, and the chair spins around, and there's a man who's definitely not Cole in it, and he's wearing a lovely gray suit with a blue shirt and tie.
Yes, he
looks very good on him.
A lovely dude. He gets out of the chair, he walks over to Phoebe, and he says his name is Rhys Davidson, and he shows her his badge and that he is the DA from the Bureau of Investigations.
Or he's from the DA Bureau of Investigations?
He's the DA from the Bureau of Investigations.
Okay.
Yeah. And that he is also looking for Cole. So, since he has a name, we shall tell you about him. Rhys is played by Keith Diamond. He was born in 1962 in Jamaica, Queens, New York. He has 51 acting credits between 1979 and 2011. He has done a bunch of stuff, but his longest gigs were voice acting ones. He did the voice of Rapid Run in the Transformers animated TV series from 2000, and as Jay in the Men in Black animated TV series that ran from 1997 to 2001. And we will see him a couple more times this season, and then once more in season 7.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
He asks who she is. She just says Phoebe, and he asks her, is that like Cher or Madonna?
Yeah, I'm not going to tangent, but if you don't know who Cher and or Madonna are, I have no words.
Yeah.
I will, of course, link to their IMDb and wiki pages, though, because I'm me, and they have acting credits. Both Cher and Madonna have been actors.
I know.
And it's... I like their acting more than their singing 90% of the time, which is weird, but...
I really love Cher's Twitter.
Oh god, Cher's Twitter is crazy.
Cher's, if you are not following Cher on Twitter, let me just suggest that you need to add this to your life. It is going to enrich it so much. She's just so unapologetic and really loves taking down trolls, and I adore it. She also, I think her first tweet is just super enigmatic or something.
Yeah,
I don't know, it's funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, Phoebe looks a little embarrassed and replies with her full name.
And she asks if Cole is okay.
Yeah, Davidson asks how she knows Cole, and she's like, hey, you didn't answer my question, dude.
Yeah. He says he's trying to figure out if Cole is okay because no one's heard from him in days.
You kind of see her, like, doing some mental calculations in her head. She's like, that's pretty much when I last saw him.
Yeah,
so.
And then he asks, are you his girl? Which is a slightly odd question, but
Phoebe replies in the affirmative.
Yeah, yes, I'm his girl. It was a little weird. Whatever. Mm-hmm. He asks her if Cole said anything to her about what he was doing or where he was going, and she mentions the suitcase that he had packed a couple weeks back, but that his plans had changed due to whatever big case he was working on.
So Rhys picks up, like, an accordion file folder and tells her that Cole hasn't been working on any cases in the past few months, just filing extensions.
Yeah.
He hands her
wonder.
Oh yeah. He hands her his card and tells her to call him if she hears from Cole or thinks of anything else. She says she will, and we know she's lying. And then she leaves as Rhys just continues looking through Cole's desk.
Yeah. We cut over to an exterior shot of the manor taken from the bottom of the stairs, angled up. So earlier we had from top down, now we have from bottom up. Mm-hmm. I enjoy the...
They're changing it up a bit.
Yeah, the changing up. Inside, we see Pepper, Prue, and Krell in the Wicker Room. We're going to fast track just a bit.
Krell tells them that he thought that because Balthazar couldn't shimmer, his other powers were also useless, and that he intercepted their calling card because he doesn't have the power to vanquish Balthazar.
Yeah. Prue wonders if the Triad didn't send him to kill them, just like they sent Balthazar. And after
there's a couple of cracks
about the White Lighter sleeping on the job.
Not all the job, just a third of it.
He says that Balthazar is on the run because he killed the Triad, so they wouldn't kill him for failing to kill the Charmed Ones.
Mm-hmm. And he's very like annoyed that they don't know this already.
Yeah.
And that he has to provide the exposition. Mm-hmm. Apparently, the fact that he can't shimmer is the only reason that their spell didn't actually bring him to them. And he says that the thought of working with them turns his stomachs, to which Piper turns to Prue and goes, stomachs?
Yeah, because apparently he has more than one. And that's never brought up again.
Nope.
Though
it doesn't really need to be.
It doesn't need to be, but you'd think he mentions it, that there at least would have been something.
Could Those
But
wrinkles. Those wrinkles.
Yes.
The puppy wrinkles.
Yes. We have the puppy, and the puppy is adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. But yeah.
Anyway.
It's never brought up again, even though it totally could have been in some weird way.
It's funny.
And, yeah. I'm kind of glad that they don't bring it up again, but it's one of those where, you know, I've been, as we mentioned at the beginning of this, I've been watching a lot of movies where there have been many a plot hole.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of wish it had been brought up again.
I don't know.
Anyway,
he tells them that they can't find Balthazar without him, and he can't kill Balthazar without their potion.
Prue asks Krell how he can find Balthazar, and we learn that he is able to track his scent by his blood, but only when he's in his demonic form, not his human one, which explains why he lost Balthazar in the cemetery once he turned into coal.
Because then he has to rely on something other than his nose.
Mm-hmm. He says that because he is wounded, he can't stay in his human form for long.
Yeah.
And Piper pulls Prue aside because, you know, they don't trust working with demons.
Because it didn't work out that well the last time.
Uh-huh.
Prue tells Krell that they'll let him know if they'll work with him, and he tries to intimidate them into answering him now. But he's like, Balthazar won't stop trying to kill you.
Yeah. He says that only the heads of the charmed ones will convince the source to spare Balthazar.
And there's this great motion he does where he kind of like mimes chopping their heads off in front of each of them.
Yeah. And he tells them to think fast, and then he disappears in a flash of light that gets concentrated at his eyes.
It almost reminded me of like a Cheshire Cat type thing.
Yeah, a little bit.
But with the eyes instead of the smile.
Yeah, a little bit. And then the girls immediately call out for Leo.
Like, well, they look at each other and then they both look up and to the ceiling and call out for Leo.
Yeah. It's like, our white letter's been sleeping on the job. Who the fuck are you, dude?
Yeah. We jump over to Phoebe, who is now knocking on Cole's apartment door very loudly.
Yeah, she calls out for him, making a neighbor poke her head out from inside her apartment. Like,
yeah.
In that, like, what's going on out here?
Like, hey, dude, stop making so much noise.
Yeah, Phoebe apologizes for being loud, and the neighbor goes back inside.
Phoebe is about to knock on the door, but stops herself and starts to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But then she happens to glance down and sees a few drops of blood on the carpet.
Yeah, and
then,
they're like, and the drops of blood that she sees are a few steps away from Cole's door. And I've watched enough crime shows to know that there's no directionality to the drops.
Mm-hmm.
So she, at that moment, is just assuming that they're Cole's.
Well, she then turns around to see if there are more behind her.
Right.
She spots them, and she sees that there's a trail leading straight to Cole's door.
Right.
And it's really funny, because it's always, like, the same number of drops every time she sees.
Yeah, the first time I think it was 5, and then
Like,
the
they're
next time
different
it was...
configurations, but it's just, like, someone just, like, dipped their hand in a bowl of, like, the corn syrup mixture and just went, like, plump.
Yeah, because that's the thing, is that they didn't give those drops any directionality, which means those drops only happened when he was stopped. Like I said,
Well,
I've watched enough crime shows.
If we're going by crime show, if we're going by actual logic,
yeah,
I'm going by what props did.
Yeah,
which is
that.
Carrying a bowl of, like, corn syrup and food dye.
Stuff. Yeah.
And just, like, dipping their fingers into it and just, like, doing the short drop, sudden stop thing.
Yeah.
With the fingers so that it just kind of, like, flicks straight downward.
Yeah. Anyway, so she sees the secondary drops that are heading toward the door. So she opens his door, which is unlocked.
Yeah, he's just not locking any doors nowadays.
Mm-hmm. And she walks inside, calling out for him, and we get a behind a door POV watching her walk through the apartment. And then we get shaky cam POV of her, like, seeing more blood on the carpet inside.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut over to Balthazar shirtless, hiding behind a door.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to Phoebe as she's walking towards said door. And she calls out for Cole again. And then he comes through the door as Cole.
No, she walks into that room. That's his bedroom. She walks into his bedroom.
She walks into the room, and then he's coming out of the bathroom.
Yeah, he's coming out of the bathroom.
Yeah, as he is putting on a blue button-down shirt.
And she spots a square of gauze that's taped to his abdomen where the wound is. It's already soaked through.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't really see if it was already on when he was just hiding behind the door. It was kind of out of frame.
We didn't get that much shot of Balthazar. We just kind of saw his arm.
He still looks horrible.
Yeah.
And his hair is still very curly.
Yep. And he looks at her and says, she shouldn't be there. And then we go to commercial break.
Yeah.
We come back a little bit later.
Yeah, almost immediately.
Yeah, small time jump.
Mm-hmm. And Phoebe is, like, pulling back the sheets on Cole's bed and getting him to lay down.
Yeah, she goes to check his wound, but he won't let her.
He's very adamant about her not even going near it.
Yeah, he doesn't want her anywhere near it.
She tells him he needs to go to hospital. And he says he can't because
they'll find him. Yeah. She asks who's after him, but he says nothing. Her. She then mentions Reese being at the office, but doesn't actually say his name. She just says there's a dude at your office.
He asks if she told him anything, and she's like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
He then starts to ask her what the guy looked like. And are you sure he wasn't a demon? But he stops at D. Yeah. And then hastily pauses and adds A.
Yeah, it was hilarious in that moment where, like, if Phoebe was in a different mindset, she would have reacted differently, I'm sure of it. Mm-hmm. Because he goes, are you sure he wasn't a D? A?
It was real awkward.
Yeah, it was so awkward. She says that he was a DA, in fact.
Yeah, and he then kind of groans in pain because he's sat back up. And she's like, okay, you're lying down again right fucking now.
Yeah, she says that she's going to go get him some help. And then she kind of turns her head and whispers for Leo.
Nothing happens, of course.
And she, he kind of is like, what are you doing kind
protesting.
of thing. And she tells him that she's not going to watch him die. And then she turns her head and whispers for Leo again.
Still nothing happens. So she tells Cole that she's going to go get Leo because Leo is a doctor.
Yeah. She asks if he'll be safe in the apartment. And he says since they've already looked for him there, that they shouldn't be back for a while.
So she kisses him and tells him that he'd better be there when she gets back. And she leaves.
And as soon as she's out of sight, Cole changes into Balthazar and then back into Cole.
And this time, his clothing does remain consistent.
Yeah. So it was interesting that, like, he had been holding on so hard, and then as soon as, like, she hasn't even closed the door, but as soon as she's out of sight, he's like, ugh.
I wasn't expecting him to change back into Cole at this point. I was just like, dude, you're tired. Like, chill.
Yeah, I know. But
anyway, we jump over to the attic at the manor. Prue and Piper and Leo are on there.
Leo is now in a gray t-shirt under a blue checked button-down with jeans.
Yeah, Prue's kind of sitting off to the side looking through the Book of Shadows, and Piper's chewing out Leo for not telling her about the Triad being dead.
Yeah,
and she uses the line, "Are you sleeping on the job?"
Yeah. It was kind of a cool shot, though, because as we see Prue sitting at the desk, we see Piper in the mirror, and then we pan over to Piper and Leo. Mm-hmm. It was a nice little... Like, the DP of photography. Like, that would be the DP of photography.
Director of photography.
Oh, man, I am losing my mind.
ATM machine.
Yeah, exactly. The DP did a good
PIN
job.
number.
Yeah, the DP did a good job. Anyway,
What other repetitive acronyms can I find?
3 a.m. in the morning.
Yes.
That's the one that everybody does it. So,
nautical miles or knots per hour.
Yeah. Like, that's the one that always gets me. It's so a.m. in the morning. Yeah, that's when a.m. is. Mm-hmm. Like, 7 p.m. in the evening. No shit.
Gee, that's not what I thought 7 p.m. was.
The only time when you have to, like, sometimes people forget is that 12 a.m. is midnight and 12 p.m. is noon.
Yeah.
It's the only one I've ever had an issue with.
I know, same.
Yeah. Because, it's those transition moments.
Yeah.
It's the tween spaces.
Watch out for the gnomes.
Mm-hmm. Trolls.
Trolls, right. Sorry, trolls.
Anyway. So she throws the sleeping on the job line at him.
Prue apologizes for Piper, saying that she's cranky.
Yeah.
And Piper's like, I get that way when demons are trying to kill us.
It was so funny because it's like, but you're not ever this cranky. Demons have been trying to kill you for years, and you've never been this particular amount of cranky.
And I think it was at this point that I noticed that her hair has some lovely layers in it.
Anyway, Prue says that Krell doesn't seem to want to kill them, And Piper says,
Tell that to the dining room table.
yeah, it made me laugh. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
So we'll fast track just a little bit again.
Leo asks if there's anything about Zotars in the book. And Prue says that everything that Krell said is in there, and she thinks that they should work with Krell to kill Balthazar before he gets his powers back.
Piper, of course, isn't so sure, but Leo agrees with Prue. Then we do a small little time jump, so we shall fast track a little again.
Prue and Piper are downstairs, calling Krell to them using the same spell that they used before.
Phoebe comes in through the front door just as Krell is coming into the room via this whirlwind again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's in the foyer again, and he's just like to the side of that table where they always put the vase of flowers.
Mm-hmm.
So Phoebe screams out, "Demon!" as she shuts the door and runs over, jumps up, grabs the top of like
The door frame of the dining room.
No, it's not the dining room.
Was it?
No, it's into the foyer.
Okay,
Because
it
the
was a
table's
door
in
frame.
the foyer.
All I know is it was a door frame.
She grabs the top of the door frame, kicks Krell in the head
As her sisters are yelling at her, Phoebe, no, stop!
and he fucking annihilates that table. So yeah, we're adding that one to the FAQ.
The dining room table?
No, not the dining room table, the one in the foyer. He lands on it and it destroys.
Oh, I missed it. Yeah.
How'd you miss that one?
I don't know. I must have missed it.
Too busy paying attention to her kick?
Possibly. Okay, so that brings our furniture annihilation quotient up to 8 for the season and 34 for the series.
Yes.
Phoebe asks who he is. Prue says that he's a demonic bounty hunter there to help them find Balthazar.
And Krell says that he's picked up Balthazar's scent.
Yeah. They take a moment to fill Phoebe in, and Phoebe seems cool with the plan, and then she asks Leo for a moment of his time.
Which apparently sets off Krell, and he's like, how do you get anything done with all this fucking talking?
Yeah. He is very impatient. He asks if they have the potion. Piper asks if he has the scent, to which he immediately replies that he already said that he had it.
Yeah, he suggests splitting up, which confuses Leo, but Krell explains that it's hard for him to track a demon scent in the cemetery because evil's always fucking hanging out there, and Balthazar knows that.
Yeah. Phoebe says that she and Leo will go to the cemetery, and Prue and Piper can go with Krell, and Prue asks if she found out anything about Cole.
Phoebe
lies
not
and
very
says no.
convincingly.
Yeah, and then everyone goes their separate ways. And this entire scene, there's a mix between Balthazar and Balthazar.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's just odd.
Yeah.
Because it's like people that were saying Balthazar are now saying Balthazar and vice versa. It was just...
Honestly, I'm doing it now, too.
Yeah.
It's infectious.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway.
We get an exterior shot of a white building, which is apparently Cole's apartment, we guess. And guess what?
We have our first streetcar of the season.
Only took 8 episodes.
Yeah, so that brings our streetcar total up to 1 for the season and 39 for the series.
Woo-hoo. So we cut to Phoebe and Leo walking through the hallway. Little fast track. Leo's confused about why they're there. Phoebe says that Cole needs his help because he won't go to a hospital. Leo's like, dude, I can't heal a mortal unless they've been hurt by evil.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, then you definitely can't heal him.
Yeah.
Because neither of those criteria are true.
Yeah. Phoebe asks him to break the rules because she can't let Cole die. Now, this entire scene, we fast-tracked a little, but Leo basically says it's against the rules, and Phoebe says, so what? You've broken those before? And, like, he just kind of gives her, like, the most hurt look.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm sorry, that was rude.
Yeah.
Like, but it's just
because the rules he's broken is mostly about being with Piper.
Yeah. Anyway, so they go inside, and they find Cole sitting on the floor in the middle of a doorway. Not the tween places, Cole. Don't you know how dangerous those are?
Oh, don't worry. He's not a fairy. He doesn't have to deal with that shit.
Yeah. Anyway.
The only trolls he has to deal with are online.
Mm-hmm. I just thought it was funny, though, that, like, that was my first thought process, is he's in the middle of a doorway, because then Phoebe runs over to him and pulls him out of the doorway and lays him on the floor. And, like, that was where my mind went, was like, good, yes, get him out of the tween place. Because we've had this show already.
I think she was wearing purple that episode, too.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Anyway, Leo...
He seems mostly unconscious by the time that she gets him on the floor.
Mm-hmm. He's very out of it.
Yeah.
Leo kneels down beside him and takes off the bandage covering the wound. And he starts to heal him, but there's like these little odd bolts of lightning. like
that come
trying
out
to,
of the wound
Yeah.
toward Leo's hands.
yeah, and you get a reverse shot on Leo's face, and he's kind of like flinching a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Phoebe
he-
asks what's wrong, and Leo says, something's not right.
And then a large bolt of electricity sends Leo flying back into the chair just before the front door.
Yeah, it was a very large chair, too.
It was good for catching white lighters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Phoebe asks if he's okay. He says that he thinks he is.
Kinda
And then
pops
she
his head up
turns
from
back
the
to
back.
Cole. And Cole is now more conscious, and we are shown the spot on his chest,
Abdomen.
which
It's not on his chest. It's
Yeah.
below the ribcage.
the spot on his side, which was a large wound, is now a ragged scar. She tells him that he's okay.
Yeah.
And then she and Leo exchange a look, and we end on a shot of Leo looking slightly confused as he stares down at Cole, and then we go to commercial break.
Yeah. And the I guess this would be makeup department who would have done this.
Uh-huh.
I think they also do like minor prosthetics.
Yeah.
Or prosthetics in general.
Yep.
As long as it's not like an arm. You can when you get the shot of the wound, you can see it's the exact same, like the quote unquote new skin is the exact same outline as the old slice, the little
Yeah.
sliver. And then it looks like clay was just pulled together across it
Yeah.
and then set
Yeah.
for like silly putty or something.
Yeah. It did not look natural.
It did not look natural. It didn't even look stitched up.
Yeah. No. It just became a ragged scar. It still looked like it might have,
But hey, it looked like it stopped bleeding.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Anyway, so we come back from our commercial break to Phoebe bringing Cole, now with a robe draped over his shoulders. Not wearing it, just draped over his shoulders. She brings him a glass of water. We shall fast track yet again. High blue. He takes a sip of the water, he thanks her, and then he says that Leo must be one hell of a doctor. She says that he's the best.
Cole says that he owes Leo, which Leo brushes off almost rudely.
Yeah, he's like, forget it.
But not like, forget it. Just like, forget it.
Yeah.
Like the mafia would tell you to forget it. But it's Leo, so he can't ever sound like the mafia.
Not so much. He asks to speak with Phoebe in private. She hesitates, but Cole says that he's fine, so she kisses his forehead, and then she and Leo go out into the hallway.
Leo tries to get her to leave. Phoebe thinks it's because of whoever is after Cole. Then Leo says that, oh, no. I can heal mortals. I could not heal all of that. So Cole is not who you think he is.
Yeah. Phoebe doesn't understand.
And Leo says Cole might even be the demon that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Because the wound is in the same place that Piper gave to Balthazar.
Yeah, got that little bit of flesh off of Balthazar. Same exact spot. Phoebe is, of course, in denial, and she tells Leo to leave. He doesn't want to leave her alone with Cole, but she reminds him that she still has her little bottle of vanquishing potion.
So he orbs out, and Phoebe walks back inside. She doesn't see Cole in the living room, so
Yeah.
she kind of like turns as she shuts the door, and he's like literally on the other side of the doorway.
Yeah, it was
Leaning
one of
against
those,
the wall very casually.
It was one of those moments where she closes the door and gets startled by him, and he's just like, everything okay? And it's just she like nervously says that everything's fine, but in that moment you can just tell she's like, why the fuck were you standing behind the door? That's a little creepy. Maybe Leo's right. Like, you can see all of these little like thoughts going through her brain in that one moment.
Yeah, you can just tell he was eavesdropping.
Yeah. Anyway, so then we cut over to Prue, Piper, and Krell in an alley.
Mm-hmm.
Piper and Prue have both added brown jackets to their outfits, but Prue's is more flashy. It's a little more like, had like a fur, like a fleecy kind of
Rustic?
color. Yeah, it's a little rustic. I liked Prue's jacket better than
It was nice.
Piper's, but whatever. Anyway, they walk down the alley. Krell says that he can smell the blood, so Balthazar must be close. And he tells the girls to get their potions ready.
And they walk past like a graffitied and busted out car,
Yeah.
which was nice.
Might hear a little bit of randomness of blue in the background. Whatever. We deal. It's blue.
Anyway,
Anyway, so they walk down the alley, and
Krell
Krell...
walks around the car and spots something, so he kind of like dashes over to this like box and rips the top off of it,
like,
which is really the side because the front is, well, there's a dude sleeping in it.
Yeah.
It's some guy's house, and we see the homeless guy from earlier.
Yeah.
He's using Cole's jacket as a little blanket.
Yes. And Krell looks at the dude and then looks back at the girls and tells them to vanquish him.
And they both kind of just they just kind of deadpan at him.
Yeah.
And so he grabs the potion bottle.
Hold on. This is the funny part, right? So hold on. So he kind of deadpans at them. And then the homeless guy asks what's going on. And when the girls don't immediately vanquish him, Krell says that this must be Balthazar in his human form. And he tells the girls to throw the potion.
But
and
they don't.
And Prue says something about Balthazar would have picked a better human.
And then immediately apologizes to the homeless guy who says, I'm not offended.
Yeah, no worries. And
so Krell snatches the potion off of Piper and throws it into the homeless man's lap.
Yeah, nothing happens. The bottle doesn't even break. It just kind of lands in his lap and then harmlessly rolls off to the side.
Yeah.
And it was so anticlimactic. It was beautiful.
It really was.
It was great.
Yeah, so this tips off Krell. He grabs the coat, smells it, and asks where the homeless guy got it. The homeless guy is too scared to answer naturally.
Yeah. And so when he doesn't answer, Krell picks him up and, pushes him against a fence. And the homeless guy says that he just found the coat. Prue tells Krell to leave him alone.
And Krell starts zapping the homeless guy in the neck.
So Prue drops down and does, a spin kick at the ground to knock Krell over. She trips him to get him to stop.
Yeah.
So, quick little fast checking. Again.
Homeless guy thanks Prue. Krell gets pissy about being touched, and that torture would lead to answers.
Prue doesn't agree with that, picks up the coat, and says that Phoebe might be able to get a premonition off of it.
Piper looks at the label and says something about it being expensive, and then that makes Prue do a double take at the coat.
Yeah.
And she's like, hang on a fucking second.
Does this look familiar?
She turns to Krell and asks when it was exactly that Balthazar was sent after them. Krell says it was 2 months ago.
Wasn't it Piper that said it?
No, it was Krell.
Was it?
It was Krell.
Okay.
Because she asked Krell.
I thought she asked Piper.
No. She turned back to Krell and asked him.
Okay.
He says it was 2 months ago, specifically. Mm-hmm. And then I looked at him 8 episodes. Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
And Piper is like, wait, what's going on? So Prue says that Cole has a coat exactly like this. Yeah. And this makes both Prue and Piper realize that Cole is Balthazar's human form.
Yeah. So, at this moment, it's very interesting that it took them to this. And I like, again, that they kind of brought back Prue's, appraisal eye.
Yeah, her suspicion. Yeah, her appraisal eye. I like that.
Yeah.
Her suspicion in this moment is helpful to this realization. But it didn't need to be so, adamantly different from the previous couple of episodes for you to have this moment.
Yeah.
Honestly, it could have just been that she was pissed that Cole had been gone for a week. Yeah, I kind of wish that she hadn't been so, I don't like him, I don't trust him. I kind of wish it had been the other way around, because then it would have been... She'd started to kind of warm up to him, and then he disappeared for a week. Right. And Phoebe is distraught. That's good enough reason to be mad at your sister's boyfriend. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Now that he's gotten a speaking line, I shall tell you about our homeless guy. He is played by a guy named Mike Rad.
That's a really great name.
Best name. He's been acting since 1997, and he's still going. He's mostly done single episodes of TV shows, including the first episode of season 4 of Buffy, the one that when she went to college.
Mm-hmm. I believe it, yeah.
That's really all there is to say about him. He's still doing stuff, but...
Sorry, I'm just remembering season 4 of Buffy. Hey! We mentioned Cher earlier.
Yes. Anyway. So, we jump back over to Cole's apartment.
Cole is over in the bathroom, and Phoebe's waiting out in the living room.
Cole says that it's too bad that he didn't get to thank Leo properly before he left.
And Phoebe says, oh, he knows.
Yeah, which makes Cole step back into view to ask he knows what. And now he has on a white tank top, and he's wiping a towel against his face. So
there's a couple of like spots.
Yeah,
of,
it seems
like,
that he was shaving.
cream.
Yeah.
And he looks much better, but the hair is still very curly.
Yeah. Phoebe says that Leo knows how grateful Cole is, which seems to satisfy him, and he goes back into the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And once he's out of sight, Phoebe starts looking through his briefcase.
Which is empty.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, dude. First of all, people can tell when you're holding something that's supposed to be full and it is not. I.e., the girls with coffee cups.
Yes.
Especially on, like, Gilmore Girls and shit. Like,
Yeah.
you can tell when a cup is not full.
Yeah.
So, having a briefcase that's not got anything in it, that weight is not going to be very believable. Which is why I like to put heavy stuff in my purse sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it just feels like it'll actually sit on my shoulder instead of just slide off.
Yeah. Anyway, Cole wonders how Leo did it and what his secret is. And Phoebe asks if he shouldn't be laying down and resting because he's still hurt.
Yeah. Cole says that the people who hurt him are still after him and he has to take care of them.
Yeah.
Or deal with them or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Something vague and mafioso-like.
Yeah, but that he still can't tell her who's after him.
And this is at the point at which she has now moved on to searching through all of the drawers in his place.
Yeah, and
there's like
they are
a table.
also empty.
Yeah, it's a table behind his couch, like just one of those console tables.
Mm-hmm.
They're all empty, and
she asks if the people after him have to do with the case that he's working on.
just
and
as she opens a drawer
mentions
that has
the DA again.
the drawer that she's opened at this point has a single pencil in it. That is it.
That's it. And
it's at this point that Cole comes out of the bathroom.
And now he's in a black turtleneck.
Yeah. He has fully shifted his aesthetic.
Yeah.
From professional to, I'm clearly an evil dude.
Yeah.
She's looking for something.
And she holds up the pencil that she got out of the drawer and says, a piece of paper. I was looking to write myself a little note.
Yeah. And he's like, it's right by the phone in front of you.
Yeah.
And she looks down next to the phone.
She gives like this little nervous laugh and
yeah.
She thanks him and she picks up the notepad and then like she puts the pencil to the notepad and then looks and sees that he's still standing there. So she pulls the pencil back and like waves the pad of paper in the air like, I got it now, thanks. And then goes back to writing. Like,
he looks a little amused at this.
Yeah, and then he goes back into the bathroom and she immediately goes to her bag to get the potion out of the bag. Like she's dropped the pencil, she's dropped the paper, she just goes to her bag and pulls out this bottle of potion.
Uh-huh.
And then because we can't stay in one place too long, we cut back over
to Prue, Piper, and Krell walking into a building.
And we are assuming that this is the lobby of Cole's apartment building because of reasons.
Yeah, there's like a bank of mailboxes at one point that you see. And
yeah.
They're talking about Cole anyway.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed because they were like ornate doors and then there was a lamp with a lampshade that had spirals on it and I was mesmerized by it and I want that lampshade.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to fast track this again.
Yeah.
Prue and Piper are contemplating the ramifications of vanquishing Phoebe's boyfriend
when
just
Leo orbs in behind them.
Just as they're about to go up the stairs.
Yeah. They all then get on the same page about Cole being Balthazar's human form, and
Leo tells them that Phoebe's upstairs with him in apartment 7.
Yeah. Krell asks if Leo healed him. Leo says he did, but only a little, and everyone's a bit upset by this.
So Piper kind of tells him to wait right there, like she was punishing him.
Yeah,
and
like, we'll deal with
this.
But he kind of, like, gives that, like, well, Phoebe asked me to. What was I going to say? You
know, yeah.
Like, and in this moment, like...
This episode is not good for Leo.
Yeah, no.
In the sense that he keeps getting ganged up on, mostly by Piper.
Yeah. We end on a lovely shot of Leo looking dejected, and I felt so bad for him.
Yeah, back upstairs, there's more fast-tracking. Cole has added a dark gray, I think it's a jacket.
No, it was a shirt. It was a button-down shirt.
She called it a shirt later. I'm like, that seems like a jacket. It seemed too thick to be a shirt to me.
No, it was just like an overshirt typey thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes it weird for that outfit, though.
Yeah, but it was kind of like
See, thinking of it as a jacket, I'm like, okay, that's believable. But telling me it's a shirt,
yeah,
I'm
it's
just
an
like,
overshirt.
No.
It reminded me.
Well, no. I'm not that I'm disagreeing with that it's a shirt. Just that I'm disagreeing with that as a fashion choice.
Yes, it reminded me of
the vest.
No. It reminded me of Andres, whatever.
Andres.
Yeah, Andres with the large turtleneck with then the red shirt over that and the jacket on top of that.
Yeah, but he was a one-off. It makes sense that he'd make stupid fashion choices like that. Cole has always been pretty good about his fashion choices, which is why I assumed that was a jacket.
Yeah, no, it was just a
whatever,
a dark gray button down that doesn't get
that
closed.
might actually affect my rating of the episode. Knowing that that's not a jacket.
Oh man.
Oh man. I am so petty today.
You are. Anyway, Cole is asking Phoebe if she's hiding something,
and
as she tries to hide the potion from view.
Yeah, and she tells him that he's the one with secrets.
And they're both like walking parallel through the room, like on either side of the couch, and they kind of meet up at the end. And
by
she's
that painting that's hiding all of his shit.
Yeah, and she's kind of surprised when they meet up in the same spot at the end of the couch, like they haven't been.
She was kind of avoiding looking at him.
Yeah, it's just kind of interesting. And she's holding the potion behind her back, and we get a few insert shots of her like fiddling with it.
And he says that he's not sorry about them being a thing, and if she asks what she really wants to know, he won't lie to her.
She asks who he is, just as Prue, Piper, and Krell burst into the apartment.
Cole, who is standing in this lovely posture where his hands are also behind his back, kind of turns, and it seems only mildly shocked. He's bemused to see Krell and names him.
Yeah.
And then he changes into Balthazar.
And Phoebe does that whole, like, hand on heart thing, like she's so shocked by this, as a dagger appears in Balthazar's hand. And he grabs Phoebe and, like, kind of puts the knife up to her neck.
Yeah, Krell does the upward boob grab and tries to zap Balthazar, but Prue pushes his hand out of the way.
And the zap instead smacks the painting to open the door to the altar on the wall behind Phoebe and Balthazar. And it just made me laugh so hard.
How else were they going to find that?
Yeah.
Honestly, that is good writing.
Yeah, it was an a la convenience, but it worked.
Oh yeah, that one worked.
Balthazar then shimmers out of the room, taking Phoebe with him, and we are left with a shot of the girls looking slightly worried and slightly scared as we go to commercial break.
Yeah. We come back in on Krell fully opening the doors to the altar.
And so we shall fast track once again.
He's upset that the girls let him go. The girls are trying to figure out why Balthazar hasn't hurt Phoebe. And Krell's like, oh, he's just using her.
Yeah, he's just using her to get all of you. And Piper says that it might be because Cole fell in love with Phoebe.
Which, of course, we all know is an established fact.
Mm-hmm.
Krell says that he will try to get to their sister, if she isn't dead already, and asks the girls to give him the bottle of Vanquishing Potion because he can find Balthazar faster alone.
Exactly, but the girls refuse because they're being
stubborn,
yeah.
Yeah, Prue reminds Krell that he said he couldn't track him if he can shimmer, and Krell's like, well, he can't do it well right now.
Yeah, Krell says that Leo only healed his human half, which is why he can't shimmer all that well yet. Piper, of course, questions this, and Krell says that Balthazar was chosen by the Triad because a full-blooded demon never could have gotten so close to them.
And I'm just like, he has mentioned the human form thing bunches of times. Y'all have never seen him except, well, I mean, they don't think they've seen him except in the demonic form. Why wouldn't they have asked about the whole human form thing before? I mean, obviously, writing, plot points, whatever, but, like, Krell's mentioned it twice before this. Literally twice. And neither time did they go, wait, human form? Like, even just to have him blow past them to, like, continue on talking, they never questioned it.
Yeah.
Which is just weird.
Nah, I don't know.
But yeah, apparently we learned that Balthazar is literally half human. Half human, half demon. You know,
little thing.
Variable genetics going on.
Yeah. But see, here's the thing with that, though, is that if you think about all of the demons that have come after them, like, at least 75% of them have looked human.
Well, yes, but they've also pretty much attacked them almost immediately, except in a couple of cases. Like, that's nothing weird.
Yeah.
But when it looks non-human, they don't expect it to ever look human.
I don't know.
Unless, you hit it with a spell or it bursts thorns out of its skin. Like, that's a thing.
That is a thing. Indeed.
But,
lovely Jeremy,
this is a new sort... Thank you. This is a new sort of twist to the whole, hey, how do we know it's a demon thing?
Yeah, I guess.
Because literally they could not tell.
Yeah.
Which really worked to his advantage several times.
Yes.
Including when he got zapped.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Krell asks for the potion again. Prue does the, you heard her, we kill you thing.
Yeah. And she hands him a potion, and he disappears once again.
Does
the
his
eyes,
Cheshire eyes
yeah, the eyes being last
thing.
thing. Piper asks if they're really going to trust him, and
Prue
Prue is
immediately
like,
says, nope.
no. And they're going to the cemetery. Or, I believe she said they're going where evil lurks, or something like that. Or where evil hangs out.
Mm-hmm.
Which, of course, we now know is the cemetery.
Yep.
So we jump over to said cemetery, panning back down from that angel headstone from earlier as Balthazar and Phoebe shimmer in.
She kind of yells at him to cut it out because it's making her want to vomit.
Yeah.
Because they've apparently been bouncing around a bit.
Yeah. Balthazar says that he had to lose Krell. Phoebe then elbows him in the stomach and flips him over onto the ground, making him drop the dagger that he was holding. She picks it up and puts it into her purse and then gets ready to vanquish him, like holding the potion up in the air.
Mm-hmm. Balthazar changes back into Cole.
Which she, of course, thinks is a ploy to save him.
But he, of course, informs her that, no, this is who he really is. And thus begins the crying argument.
Yeah, he tells her that he wants her to see who he really is. She says that she has. She calls him Balthazar, and she, again, gets ready to throw the potion. And he asks her to wait, saying that he won't hurt her. And she's like, well, why didn't you just kill me? Like, why did you toy with my emotions? All that bullshit.
Like, was this some sort of sick game kind of deal? And he's like, I tried. I couldn't. And at first it was because you and your sisters stopped me.
Yeah, you thwarted my attacks.
Even when I went back in time. And she's like, that was you?
Yeah. And then he mentions Troxa and Andress, and he says that he got them to make the girls vulnerable. But when it came time, he just couldn't kill Phoebe because he realized that he loved her.
And she calls him a bastard because it's a really bastardy thing to say.
Yeah, and he says that while everything else was a lie, his falling in love with her wasn't.
He tells her that he's half human, that his father was mortal,
and that's why he bleeds red, even in his demon form. Which, okay.
Sure, add some lore. Why not?
I kind of enjoy it. It's a little odd, but I'll
they
take
have
it.
had a lot of weird blood colors, I guess. I don't know. Not as many
Blue,
as Star
green,
Trek.
stuff like that.
Star Trek has definitely more weird blood colors.
Anyway, he says that he had forgotten how to be human until he met her.
She tells him that this doesn't change anything. He's still a demon.
And then as Krell appears nearby, they don't see him yet, but
Cole says that Phoebe's awakened his humanity and ability to love.
She
like,
says,
this is so fucking cheesy.
Yeah, it was so cheesy. She says that she wants to believe him. He says that he can prove it to her, and then he spreads his arms out and tells her to vanquish him. And that's when Phoebe notices Krell, and Krell takes that opportunity to zap Cole.
Right in the middle of the back.
Yeah.
Possibly, okay, hang on. Yeah, like T2 or 3 maybe. On his spine.
Sure.
That's the thoracic vertebra, people.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It goes cervical. So you've got your atlas, which is the one right under your skull. And then you have the cervical vertebra. I think there are 7. And then you have the lumbar vertebra. I forget how many there are. Then you have the thoracic vertebra. I forget how many there are. And then the lumbar. And then your tailbone, which is part of your lumbar.
Mm-hmm.
The things you learn when you go to a chiropractor.
Yeah.
Oh, well, actually, no, I didn't learn that from the chiropractor. I learned that from my dad.
Yeah. And I can say from experience, if you are ever on a seesaw and the other person gets off and you wind up smacking your tailbone, it will hurt for days.
Oh, yeah. I've broken my tailbone before.
Mm-hmm.
Never got it fixed, though.
Yeah. No, it is painful.
Mm-hmm.
It's no good. No bueno. I will no longer go on seesaws.
Yeah.
Because fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Cole's stunt double goes flying through the air and lands hard on the ground on what looks like a bit of fake grass. And then Phoebe runs over to Cole, she helps him up, and they run toward the same mausoleum as before. Krell, of course, takes a zap at the mausoleum as they enter it, which, they close the door behind them and he hits the wall next to it.
And it throws off some nice sparks.
Yeah. Inside, Cole coughs and leans on a coffin, and she walks over to help him get to the corner toward the back of the mausoleum.
And I saw her kind of drop the potion bottle on top of the first thing that he leans against.
Yeah,
like the
little coffin typey thing.
Crypt, tomb. What's the word? Sarcophagus? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The above ground receptacle of death.
Where you would put, say, an effigy.
Yeah.
That thing.
Sure. Anyway, he sits down just as Krell walks in.
And potion bottle gone.
Uh-huh. He asks Krell not to hurt Phoebe. Krell says that he's disappointed that Balthazar let his human side take over. And Krell says that it's going to cost him his life as he holds up the bottle of potion that he was given. Phoebe then kicks it out of his hand and then kicks him. And she, like, blocks his punches and kicks him again. And he falls over the coffin.
Yeah, he kind of,
Like,
he knocks some leaves that are on top of it off.
Phoebe then jumps onto said coffin. And, like, the way...
Beer! That's the word. It's a beer. It's a stone beer. B-I-E-R. Sorry, I just remembered that.
Okay.
Because I've been reading a lot of fantasy.
Okay. Sure.
Oh, well.
That's not a word that I knew. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So she jumps up on top of this thing, and you can see that she is in, like, really chunky heels.
Oh, yeah.
And I just looked at it and go, that was a good jump for being in those heels. Like, a good jump and a good landing.
At this point, she can levitate.
Yeah.
They haven't gotten rid of that power yet.
Exactly. But I was like, oh, right, levitation. That probably helped.
Probably.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
she jumps back off to kick him, but he Cheshires out
Yeah, he disappears
and reappears behind her.
and gets her attention, and, like, she turns around, and he holds up his hand, ready to zap her.
He does the boob grab.
Yeah. Cole screams out a no, and then vanquishes Krell in a lovely show of electricity.
Yeah, throwing one of his little lightning plasma ball things.
Yeah. Cole then stands up and asks Phoebe if she believes him now.
So naturally, she walks over and snogs the shit out of him.
Yep, they start making out because of course they do.
Yeah, macking in a mausoleum.
Yeah. Quick cut outside into the dark cemetery.
Prue and Piper are walking around holding hands and
Yep.
calling out for Phoebe.
Yeah. Cutting back into the mausoleum where Phoebe and Cole are still kissing. They stop when Phoebe hears her sisters calling for her.
And Phoebe's doing this thing that, honestly, I find a little bit annoying, where she's just, like, touching his face all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, what's with that? Like, are you trying to make sure he doesn't disappear on you? Because that's weird.
Yeah. It's
like,
I'm squishing your face to make
have
sure
you
it's
forgot-
real.
Like, can you not trust your eyes to know where his face is?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Cole says that he should go. Phoebe says that they'll keep looking for him until they find him.
And he asks if she means her sister, and she's like, yeah, them
Them too. And then she asks for his shirt. And so he is a little confused, but he takes off the dark gray shirt that he was wearing. She, like, grabs it from him and drops it on the ground.
She picks up the fallen potion bottle and gets out the dagger that she took from him from her purse.
Right. She asks for his hand, telling him to trust her.
And then we get a lovely shot of this nice little prop dagger that's clearly got a little line.
Oh,
for-
good. Yeah.
Well, what's the tube? It's got like a little tube behind it because she's holding it flat, basically.
Yeah.
And just like dragging the point across his palm. And it's leaving a line of blood.
Yeah. Which is not what happens
No.
when you cut yourself. It doesn't immediately burst forth that way.
No, I get cuts all the time at work.
Yeah. Anyway, so she cuts his hand with a dagger, and then she does the thing that annoys the crap out of me. She makes his hand go into a fist to drip blood onto the shirt on the floor.
Which would close the wound.
Yeah, that's counterintuitive.
It really is. It's like people who lean their heads back when they get a bloody nose. No, lean forward. Lean forward.
Yeah.
Because if you lean back, it's going to go down your throat.
Yeah, and that's not fun.
I mean, it's at least going to go down your esophagus, but it's still not fun.
Yeah. So, anyway, so she gets a bit of blood onto the shirt, and then she drops the potion bottle onto said shirt.
Drops. She doesn't throw it. She doesn't
no.
smack it. She doesn't open it and drip it. She just drops it, and it
Explodes.
It looked like it ricocheted.
Yeah.
Like when they show the shot of it falling, it looked like it ricocheted off to the side.
Yeah.
And then it smokes and makes a loud bang.
Yeah.
There was a boom this time.
Indeed.
We cut outside as Prue and Piper hear the noise, and they see the open door of the mausoleum, which has smoke coming out of it for some reason.
So Krell must have been raised in a barn, because he left the door open.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they both run towards the mausoleum.
We cut back inside as Phoebe is telling Cole that no one should be looking for him anymore, because he's dead now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we see the shot of the burning jacket on the floor.
Yeah.
And she hears her sisters call for her again, and so she calls back to them in between kissing Cole.
Yeah. And we in that shot of like the burning spot on the floor, we also see the dagger just lying in the middle of the fire.
Well, the girls knew that Balthazar had the dagger,
Right.
so it makes sense to put it there.
Yeah, it was just interesting that it was like almost perfectly, because there was a little hole.
Yeah, there was
in
like
the center
a large
of fire,
dent,
and then a larger hole outside of it, and the dagger was in between those two holes.
Mhm.
It was just
like
funny.
it was like a pothole within a pothole, and both of them were on fire.
Yeah.
So like Chicago driving. Oh, that got you?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
Sorry. Anyway.
She tells Cole to leave. They kiss, and he shimmers out mid-kiss. So now Phoebe knows how Piper feels.
Exactly. Prue and Piper run in, thanking God that Phoebe is okay, and then they see the burning pile that was Krell.
Phoebe says that Balthazar killed Krell, and Prue says, "You did what you had to do," and hugs Phoebe. And Phoebe's like, I know.
And she looks slightly guilty.
And I'm just like, well, she didn't lie.
Yep. Very true. She did what she thought she had to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We cut to an exterior day shot of the manor.
I
Phoebe
apologize.
is lying on the couch in the living room, holding Cole's dagger and kind of like spinning it around in her hands.
Yeah. She is wearing light gray pants and a dark gray top that has a very interesting color. It's a bit hard to describe. It's
It
kind
looks
of like a wrap.
Yeah, it's Asian inspired. It looks like something you'd see in some kind of kung fu movie. And it's got
it's
like
slightly futuristic. Like
and
it
the
looks
cuffs. Honestly,
the collar
it could
is held up by, like,
it could
Velcro.
either be futuristic or modern traditional.
Yeah.
Because it looks like stuff I've literally seen in kung fu movies.
Yeah.
It looks almost exactly like a bunch of that crap.
Okay.
Well,
I don't watch kung fu movies, so
I don't usually either, but like it looks like something I've seen Jet Li wear
okay.
in the couple of movies I've seen him in.
All right.
So, we'll go with that.
Sure, works for me. Anyway, her hair is pulled back into a messy ponytail. Prue and Piper walk in. Prue is in a long sleeve light blue shirt with jeans, and her hair is in 2 braids.
And the
on either
elastics
side.
have something sparkly on them.
Yeah, they're like those little the little beaded ties that like you'd see on like a 5-year-old.
Except smaller.
Yeah.
Because typically the ones on a 5-year-old are large and brightly colored.
Yeah. Piper is in blue pants and a cream sweater with that little diamond necklace, and her
It's a very
hair is
loose
in a-
weave cream sweater, too.
Yeah, it is. And her hair is in a low ponytail. Piper is holding a tray of what looked like grilled cheese sandwiches.
But not grilled?
Yeah. But the cheese looked melty, which is why like it was either like a cheese sauce on bread or something, but it looked like melty grilled cheese but not like toasted. It was weird. I don't know.
What,
Whatever.
Piper? No onion tartlets? Come
Yeah.
on. Step it up.
Well, she says that they brought comfort food.
Yes, but
So-
Piper doesn't do chips and dip. She's not going to do ungrilled cheese sandwiches.
I don't know. It depends on what somebody's comfort food is.
It depends on what the writers think is comfort food.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, it could be.
They probably stole it from craft services.
I don't know, because nobody actually eats it. So
Exactly.
Yeah, it
No
could
one
be.
was eating these damn cheese sandwiches, so they stole them from craft service.
maybe. Anyway, but my thought process was it could have been like, because if it's comfort food, then it's something you had as a kid, and I know for me, like comfort
Mashed
food.
bananas on toast. Anyone?
No,
Gilmore Girls.
no.
I'm just thinking of a thing from Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, no. But what I was thinking was, and it's going to sound kind of gross, but instead of like grilled cheese, it's a microwave cheese sandwich. So it's warm cheese on bread, but it's not like toasted.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I used to have as a kid, because I wasn't allowed to go near the toaster or the stove, because those had heating elements that I could have touched and hurt myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until you were how old?
I don't know, like 7.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, like, but when I was like a little kid. But
Me,
you know,
I was put
so-
on a stool next to the stove to watch it when my parents had to go do something otherwise in the house. And one time, something caught fire
well,
while I was sitting there. And I yelled, and my dad and my brother came up from the basement. And all that had happened was like a plastic cup next to the stove just like kind of melted through. And so we had fun pouring water into it and watching it like come out. But like it lit like a towel or paper towel or something right next to it, which then lit the cup because I like moved it away
yeah.
so it wouldn't like continue getting on fire. But I didn't know how to put it out because I'm like 6.
Yes, we had very different childhoods. But yeah, no, I would do like the microwave thing where you just put the cheese between two pieces of bread and stick it in the microwave.
I think Dad was making meat noodles that time, which is what his version of chipped beef is called.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Because normally, like, chipped beef is...
Shit on a shingle.
Something like that. I guess it's just
chipped
like...
beef on toast or chipped beef on crackers is
like you just get
shit
like
on a shingle.
Pot roast or something. I'm not even sure what normal chipped beef is, but you like put it and you put it in a cream sauce and then you put it on toast. But Dad would like slice up like ham or whatever or something, bologna, I forget what, and then just like cook it in the creamy sauce. And honestly, I never liked it.
Well,
I liked the name, but whenever he'd be like, "Hey, should we make meat noodles?" I'd be like, "No, definitely not. Let's not do that ever."
Anyway, back to the show. So, Piper says she's brought comfort food. Phoebe says she's not hungry. Prue asks if she wants to talk.
And Phoebe says that, what's there to talk about? Prue was right about Cole.
Yeah. Prue, of course, says that she didn't want to be right.
She kind of did.
And Phoebe says that she has nothing to apologize for.
Phoebe says that she feels ashamed about what she did.
Yeah. Piper tells her not to be so hard on herself.
Prue says that Phoebe didn't do anything wrong, but
Phoebe, of course, isn't so sure of that. Reminder that her sisters don't know that she didn't actually kill Cole.
Yeah. They think she feels ashamed. Well, I mean, goodness knows whether or not Phoebe actually feels ashamed, but they think she feels ashamed because she was sleeping with him. Or something.
No, they think that she feels ashamed because she had to kill him and she loved him. I think is
or that she just couldn't tell, that she feels tricked or something.
Yeah, I don't know. If you view this scene through the eyes of Piper and Prue, who think that Phoebe had to kill Cole, then this entire scene is, we're sorry he's a demon, we're sorry you had to kill him.
Well, yes, but, like, why would they assume she feels ashamed? Like, what do they think is shameful about the situation? Not that she had to kill him.
But Phoebe's the one that says that she feels ashamed.
Well, yes,
so...
I'm that's what I'm saying. Like, why would they, like, she didn't do anything wrong. Like, what would they think she feels ashamed about? Having a relationship with the guy and not knowing he was a demon. That's how I would interpret that.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's obviously open to interpretation because obviously we know that she didn't kill him, and maybe she feels a little bit guilty about that.
Maybe.
So, yeah, whatever.
Anyway, Prue is just happy that it's over and that they can get on with their lives. And Piper, of course, reminds them that there's always going to be another demon attack.
And they leave Phoebe to be alone with her thoughts and her nice new dagger.
Because we get a final shot.
It is a nice, shiny dagger.
It is shiny. We get a final shot of Phoebe lying on the couch, and she closes her eyes, still holding the dagger, and we go to the end credits.
And then later she rolls over on top of it and has to go to the hospital.
No. Anyway, with our end credits, that means we are on to our ratings portion of the day. So, I am giving this episode a 7 out of 10 secrets kept.
You're so lame.
I know.
I'm giving it a... you know, I'll give it an 8 out of 10 Violet Vanquishing Vials.
Nice.
That's V-I-A-L, not V-I-L-E.
Though technically it could work either way.
Well, then it would be a Violet Vanquishing Vial.
Yeah, not putting
which is just too much for me.
That's
like, 3 is about my limit. It's the rule of 3.
Yeah, too much.
The power of 3.
Yes. So, with our ratings done, we are on to outfits.
Well, I liked Cole's outfit until I found out it was a shirt and not a jacket. Because honestly, it was like a really good perspective shift because now Phoebe sees him as being evil or like she's suspicious, and now he's suddenly wearing a black turtleneck, and I'm just like, text painting.
Yep.
But not with text.
Yep. I liked the final outfit for Phoebe because, like, it wasn't on the screen that long, but that top was really interesting, and I really liked it. For the other two, I liked the outfits that they had on for most of the episode. I mean, I didn't really like their final episode.
Yeah.
Their final scene outfits were kind of just boring.
Yeah. Prue basically changed from a tank top with leopard print to a, what was it, blue tank top?
Yeah.
That Prue didn't change much.
Yeah.
I liked her braids, though.
Yeah, the braids were cute. But, like, of the outfits, I liked the ones that they had on for 90% of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Which means we are on to social media stuff.
Social media stuff.
Ding! So, as per always, you can find us at charmchats.com. That is where you will find all of the lovely links and stuff.
Mm-hmm. You can always send us questions or comments or comments, which is a combination of question and a comment.
Mm-hmm.
Or just, random crap to us at charmchats@gmail.com. That is our email.
Yes. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/charmchats.
You can find us on Tumblr and Twitter at charmchatspod.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got an Instagram.
Yeah.
That's mostly pictures of Blue because he's really goddamn cute.
Yeah, and because our behind-the-scenes stuff is literally just a couple of computers and a microphone, so
Yeah.
it's kind of boring to look at, if we're being honest.
Yeah, we don't have those fancy rigs
No.
with the arm.
No.
The reach over so you can have your entire desk free
No.
to clutter it up.
With stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, none of that.
None of that.
None of that.
And if you are feeling so inclined, you might head on over to patreon.com/charmchats and maybe throw us a couple of bucks because we could use it to do things like pay for our website and shit.
Yeah. And because of the people that we have that are awesome patrons right now, we are able to pay for putting the episodes up on iTunes, which literally is getting paid for by our patrons.
Yeah.
So we thank you very much. If you like getting our stuff on iTunes, if that is where you're listening, head over to patreon.com/charmchats and think about possibly giving us $1 or more to help us continue being able to put our content up on iTunes.
Yes.
So,
And in return, of course, you'll be getting access to stuff like blooper reels, or I think there's a couple of bonus episodes or something.
or
Or there's like a bonus episode.
yeah, there's the weird bonus episode of where I left in the Auntie Sharon stuff.
Yeah, that one.
From stuff, yeah. Bloopers, extra tangenty things. There may be some other stuff that'll be happening soon. And we now have a Discord. We mentioned that before.
Mm-hmm.
But
Which is
we
just
shall
kind of
mention it again.
For people who still don't know what Discord is, which I believe there's probably a lot of you, because I was one of those.
Yep.
It's just like another thing to like chat and share stuff with.
Yeah.
It's more real time because why not?
Yeah, it's much more real time, and it's also a lovely way of, we can actually, if we're on at the same time, we can talk to you via voice chat then.
Yeah.
So if you have a question and I happen to be online at that moment and I have, nothing else that I'm doing, pop into a voice channel, send me a quick message saying, hey, want to chat? And I might just pop into that voice channel and start talking to you. So, that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest, we have it right now as a Patreon exclusive, but that won't last for long.
Nope.
We will probably be opening it up to non-Patreon people at some point in the future, but for at least the next little bit, it will be Patreon exclusive. So, just saying.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Speaking of Patreon,
We have a brand new patron!
What?
What? Yeah, new patron at the $1 tier, Monica. I'm assuming it's Monica P.
Yeah. Possibly, but hey, we try not to judge names.
Yeah, but we have to give you a shout out into the ether. So we're gonna do it as Monica. So if for some
If it's
reason I got
actually
it wrong
Monica.
and it isn't Monica, you just send me an email, send me a tweet. You just let me know, and we will shout you out again and fix it. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So, thank you for being a patron at the $1 tier. We shall now shout your name into the ether. Monica!
Yeah. What?
But I believe that's it.
I believe so as well.
So, until next time,
Sleep tight. Don't let the warlocks bite. Or carve you up into thirds.
yeah. Bye!
Bye.
Phoebe, Piper, and Prue, they've got evil to slay and some potions to brew. So we'll see where it's at next time with Kendra and Kat on Charm Chats.
Mollusks.